They opened me with welcome arms to their worship services, to their prayer services, and they treated me just like a brother. They appreciated me, and they showed me genuine love. The Rule of St. Benedict, which is the rule book, kind of like our book of discipline, except they strictly follow their book, has a quote in there that they have to follow and abide by. And this quote says, "All guests who present themselves are to be welcomed as Christ, for he will say, 'I was a stranger and you welcomed me.'" This is an interesting way to think about hospitality. Not only are we to welcome others into our churches and into our lives, but we are to welcome others as Christ himself. We are to welcome others as Christ himself just walked through the door. Have you ever thought about how you greet someone? For example, have you ever thought about how you may greet someone when you walk into a restaurant? Do you greet the person, or do you use them as a means to simply get the food that you're after? How do you greet them? Do you use their name? Do you treat them human? Well, what if we welcomed every person who walked through the doors of St. Joseph United Methodist Church as Christ himself? How would that change things if we treated every person as royalty? But how could we welcome Christ into our midst, into this church? What would we do? How would we react? Well, we would give him the best food, right? We would give him the best food in this church. We'd probably give him the best seat in the sanctuary, something I see you've already done. And I know that we would do the same for every person who walked through the door if we followed this rule. If we would treat everyone as Christ. For that is being hospitable. Treating everyone who walks through the door as Christ himself. Treating others as Christ means treating others with respect and reverencing the unique dignity of each person as well. My third thought about hospitality is respecting the unique dignity of each person. This is an idea that's not foreign to me. Being an alumni now of the University of St. Francis here in Fort Wayne, they have 5 Franciscan values. And the very first one of the Franciscan values, which this school does their whole, the school lives out these values. The first one is respecting or reverencing the unique dignity of each person. This idea reminds me often that we are made in the likeness and image of God. But sometimes it can be difficult. I understand it can be difficult to see each person in the likeness and image of God. But we have to remember that in that image, Christ can be seen. To go back to the Rule of St. Benedict once more, there's another quote in this rule that says, "All humility should be shown in addressing a guest on arrival or departure. By a bow of the head or complete prostration of the body, Christ is to be adored because he is indeed welcomed in them." No, I'm not saying we have to prostrate ourselves every time we see another individual or even bow as the Rule of St. Benedict says. But I think we can show respect for every person that walks through the door by speaking respectfully and loving every person. Desmond Tutu, who wrote the book A God's Dream, states, "To treat a child of God as if he or she were less than this is not just wrong, which it is. It's not just evil, as it often is. Not just painful, as it often must be for the victim, but is veritably blasphemous, for it is to spit in the face of God." If we took this seriously, we should not just greet each other, but we should really genuflect before one another. And genuflect is when you show respect within the Anglican tradition, which Desmond Tutu comes from. As you walk into the sanctuary, you genuflect and do the sign of the cross in front of the altar, in front of the tabernacle. But it's a sign of respect that he is saying that we should show respect to all people in this same fashion, and we show respect for Christ in the sanctuary. I believe the church can be a place where we respect the spiritual journey. Every person is on a spiritual journey, and a part of respecting that unique dignity of each individual, we can respect where they are on the journey, and be open to fruitful conversation and questions that these people may bring to our church here at St. Joseph. Being open and honest with one another, and by accepting where one another is on the journey, for that is being hospitable. Not boasting in our own ability to walk on the journey, but instead encouraging others and having fruitful conversation with others. For we should open our lives to fruitful discussion, to build relationships, and to build trust within this church. This church can be a community that puts the practice or the former slogan of the United Methodist Church, open hearts, open minds, open doors, into practice. Instead of just allowing that slogan to be an abstract theory, we can put that slogan into practice right here at St. Joseph. We can have open minds to those who come into this church for their journey. We can have open hearts to welcome them and love them as Christ welcomes others. And we can have open doors to everyone who may want to enter. This congregation can become an even more hospitable church. A church that welcomes all people with love, extends an invitation to all people, and one that respects the unique dignity of each person. As we got off that bus at Bupyeong Methodist Church in Incheon, Korea, we received the welcome fit for a king. Well, every time a stranger walks into St. Joseph, whether they are a new member or a long-time member, we can give them a welcome fit for a king, because they represent the King of all kings, the Lord of all lords, and the guest of all guests, for they represent Jesus Christ. So give them a Christ-like welcome, love them as Christ loves all people, and welcome them as Christ shows all people respect.